in a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey, all you beautiful movie-loving people out there, live from a red carpet somewhere, surrounded by celebrities. This is the Movies Merica podcast with Van Ebert, where movie reviews meet cold brews. Van will review your favorite and maybe not so favorite movies while enjoying some ice-cold beers and saying cheers. Now let's head into the theater and join our illustrious movie reviewer du jour, who's no doubt got the beer ready to pour, Van Ebert. Hey, everybody. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining Movies Merica podcast here today. I hope you will not be disappointed. Okay, so, but, to that point, let's get right into it here. I got an achievement to live up to, right? I got to make this worth your time. Unlike this movie I'm going to review here today. The old, oh no, Kung Fu. And this movie was a disappointment at the box office. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the severely unneeded sequel to The Matrix Resurrections.
Thomas? You seem particularly triggered right now. Can you tell me what happened?
I've had dreams that weren't just dreams.
Am I crazy? We don't use that word in here.
Okay. I can't listen to any more of this trailer for a terrible movie abusing a great song like White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. Okay, can't tolerate it anymore here. I got to shut that trailer down. But I do remember when that trailer came out, it did a masterful job, as trailers are supposed to do, at making a dumpster fire of a movie actually look enticing, getting it to the theater. And then if you're a smart moviegoer like me, gee, watch me toot my own horn, why don't I? You check out like the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb before you go out and you plunk, your hard-earned $15 on a movie. But anyway, we'll get more into that here a little later on here. But first off, a little house cleaning. I just want to let you guys know here that obviously you're listening to this podcast on your podcast platform of choice, but it's also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many other platforms. And if you happen to be on Apple Podcast, feel free to give it a 5-star rating and, give it a review there if you so like. Just doesn't have to be a long review. It could be like a very short review like, hey, good podcast, or man, that podcast stinks. And then also make sure to download the episodes there as well. I think on Google Podcasts, you can give it ratings and reviews on there too, I believe, but don't quote me on that. Also, this podcast is available on moviesmerica.com, and there's some episodes on there that you don't hear, you won't see on any of the podcast platforms. Also, let you know I'm on Twitter and Instagram under Movies Merica. Of course, if you want to share anything with me or check out any of my silly posts, I like to put on posts there of a movie orientation, and you can use that to just to reach out to me and tell me how fantastic or what an abomination to the podcast occupation that I am. whatever floats your boat, right? I do open rooms on Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse every once in a while to talk live and interactively about movies. So check out my Twitter and Instagram for announcements about those there, again, under Movies Merica. And as you all know here by now, I do drink a tasty brew, a tasty beer every episode while I'm reviewing here. We try to multitask here at Movies Merica Incorporated. And so today's episode will be no different. Today's lucky brew is Shiner Holiday Cheer, since we are technically still in the holiday season. We're coming up close to New Year's Eve into 2022 here. But I'm drinking some Shiner Holiday Cheer out of Shiner, Texas, to wet my whistle during this podcast here and to get us a little closer to the new year. And I like this beer just because, I mean, as you would imagine with a beer that's, got a name like Holiday Cheer, it's going to have, some kind of nutty flavor to it. So it's got some pecan flavor, some peaches flavor to it. And just to let you know, I'm not getting any endorsement money for this. I just really like beer. And so it's just my excuse to drink beer while I do one of my other favorite things, which is reviewing movies. And I do love my movies. Okay, so on that note here, I'm going to down some holiday cheer right there, just because I feel my holiday levels are a little lacking right now. So I got to up my holiday levels here, liquid style. And, of course, that made no sense whatsoever. Okay. So let's get right into the Matrix reclinations. What is it? Matrix ruminations? Matrix, whatever big word they put at the end of the Matrix to make it sound like it's a serious movie. It's the Matrix Resurrections. Okay, gotcha. All right. So this movie, I remember when I first heard about this movie coming out, this is also when I was hearing Keanu Reeves is doing like another Bill and Ted movie. And I was like, you don't have to reboot every one of your famous movie franchises, Keanu. I mean, you can let some of them slide and just let us enjoy the movies that you've already put out there, into the world, and just let them appreciate them for what they are. The Matrix is no different. The original Matrix was a phenomenon. It was a worldwide event. It wasn't just a movie. This isn't just, some Paddington Bear movie coming out. This is the Matrix. And, I mean, the Matrix just revolutionized so many different things about movies. Visual effects. It had bullet time, I remember the first time on that, in that scene on the roof where the agent's unloading his Desert Eagle on Neo, and, Neo's yelling, "Trinity, help!" And Neo, does, the old, the back, basically towards his back backwards, I guess, and dodges the bullets mostly, and they got that cool bullet time effect. And I mean, and then of course, Trinity, at the beginning of the movie where she's taking out all those cops, and they do that stop motion where she's, hovered in midair and doing the sweet kicks and running all over the walls. I mean, just revolutionary visual effects, I mean, like action movies were never the same after that. And then, a movie like that to come out with a high concept plot like The Matrix did, for an action movie. Usually, action movies are just kind of like big, dumb, like shoot 'em up, bang, bang, explosions. We blow things up real good there. I mean, that kind of thing with action movies. But The Matrix had some brains behind it, and I remember The Matrix did a great job with their marketing, where the marketing just basically asked the question, "What is The Matrix?" And it enticed people to go see the movie to figure out, hey, what is this Matrix? What are they talking about? Like, this is, I mean, they keep talking about in the trailers and like, oh, the Matrix. What is the Matrix? Don't you want to know what the Matrix is? Like, swallow the red pill. You'll find out what the Matrix is. What is the Matrix? And it was a brilliant marketing. And so, yeah, again, like I said, the Matrix was a phenomenon. And then, unfortunately, they kind of watered down the Matrix brand with the sequels. Now, I'm in the minority here where I don't think The Matrix Reloaded was that bad. Actually, I did enjoy The Matrix Reloaded, the second sequel, or the first sequel, I guess, depending on how you look at it, to The Matrix. it had way too much, like it was way too talky, and just had way too much of that crypto speak. Like, what is the choice? The choice is yours. Well, maybe you've already made the choice. I don't know. The choice is taster's choice. I don't like my coffee in the morning with taster's choice. I don't know. What's your choice? I don't even. Maybe you've already made the choice. Drink that coffee in that taster's choice. There's just too many choices. I don't know. Healthy choice. Maybe I eat some healthy choice. I don't know. You've probably already made the choice to eat healthy choice. Like, oh my God. Will you stop using the word choice so much? In the screenplay, I remember like yelling, at the screen when I was watching The Matrix, Reloaded. I'm like, just so much like crypto babble going back and forth in the screenplay. But then they made up for it with just some cool, just eye-popping action in The Matrix Reloaded. I mean, that car chase scene, where Trinity's on the Ducati. I mean, that was pretty badass. And the two, I guess, what would you call them, the Ghost Brothers or something with the dreads? I mean, that was a cool special effect. All the explosion in the car chase, and then Neo doing his cool flying around, and then it was really cool action. So The Matrix Reloaded, I didn't mind it. The Matrix Revolutions, the next sequel, it had some cool visuals to it, but it had even more of that crypto babble about choices in it, and the screenplay was just blah and bland, and just took itself way too seriously. But believe it or not, The Matrix Revolutions seems like Lawrence of Arabia in comparison to The Matrix Resurrections, to be honest with you. This movie, okay, I had so high hopes for this movie. The trailer I was playing with White Rabbit playing. I mean, that was one of the best trailers I've ever seen for a movie, with the song usage and just the cutting of the scenes, and it did a fantastic job at enticing people to go see this movie. Now, apparently, we have some critically thinking movie fans and some movie fans that do pay attention to reviews and word of mouth before they went to go see this movie. And as a result, this movie pretty much tanked at the box office in its opening weekend. Now, the people that are really rooting for this movie to do well, and I'm not talking about the studios, who I'm talking about, just there's a particular fan base out there that wants this movie to do very, very well, for a myriad of reasons, whatever those reasons are here. And so the excuse they're using is, well, it was also released on HBO Max. That is true. But it was released on Wednesday instead of Friday. So it had 2 extra days to make some, box office bank that other movies did not have available to it. So, yeah, they can stick that excuse in their pipe and smoke it, okay? And also, Warner Brothers has had other movie releases on HBO Max that have, the HBO Max thing hasn't hampered their box office, and so that's kind of a lousy excuse. I think just a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but some people went out and saw this movie and rightfully just thought it was just, oh my God. I mean, it is just a dog pile, and these particular fans are trying to squirt some whipped cream on top of a pile of dog crap, I mean, and it's too bad. But now I'll let you know. So the 2 things that I thought made this movie just absolutely terrible is the editing and the screenplay. The editing, this is, I don't know what this is. Okay, these are Hollywood professionals, right? These are professionals that have served their time in the Hollywood trenches. They've got years and years of experience, cutting up footage and editing it, and but they just really phoned this one in. I mean, it's got some of the worst editing I've ever seen. Particularly, they have like a montage sequence towards the beginning of the movie, and the montage is just a exhibition of how bad the editing and the screenplay are at the same time. I mean, I was actually looking around the movie theater, other people just to see what their reactions were, and just to see if they were looking, around too, questioning what they were seeing and hearing on the screen. And I was watching. I remember I can't believe that Keanu Reeves. I remember thinking I can't believe that Keanu Reeves read this screenplay and was in for this movie. Now, he may have had like 3 armored trucks full of cash backed up into his driveway to convince him to do this movie. That always has potentially something to do with it. But it just, I thought it was a joke. And then I've heard some things from the director, Lana Wachowski, formerly Larry Wachowski, I believe, but now she's Lana Wachowski. And somebody, they were at the premiere of The Matrix Resurrections, and some IGN reporters came up and were just interviewing her for the movie, just doing some typical red carpet interviews that you see. And one of them asked, just what I thought like was a harmless question, a question you would expect to a director for a movie. And they just asked her, why was right now the right time to make this movie, or why did you decide to make this movie and revisit The Matrix again? And she was just like, wow, you're really coming at me with these interesting questions, these tough questions. And she just kind of hemmed and hawed, about it. And I remember seeing that and thinking, like, wow, this is not a director that sounds particularly proud that she made this movie. She doesn't sound particularly proud of this movie, or having to make this movie. And so that may have something to do with how terrible this movie is here. And then also, when you watch the movie, it's very meta, and it's very on the nose, and it's one of the main themes of the movie is how we recycle the same franchises, the same IP, the same intellectual property, for the masses, and there's not a whole lot of originality, and so that's a major theme, at least in the first half of this movie. And it's kind of like Lana Wachowski and their other filmmakers, kind of winking at the audience, going, hey, I didn't really want to make this movie. Okay, I didn't want to visit The Matrix again. We're just rehashing the same crap, and they even mention Warner Brothers by name in this movie. And so then it kind of started, pieces kind of started falling into place, and I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, maybe the filmmakers really did phone it in on this movie. They just, half-assed this movie because their hearts really weren't into it. They didn't want to do anything with it. So with that, I'm like, okay, now that's something that I can wrap my head around. That's something that makes sense. And it definitely shows on the screen. And to be honest with you, as my public service announcement for this week, that would be, don't bother going to see this movie. Okay. I mean, if you've already got HBO Max and you're not going to plunk down any more money than what you're paying for HBO Max, well, watch it then. And obviously, or you could just totally disregard my advice and go see it for yourself and judge for yourself. More power to you. Just don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, so, but yeah, I'm trying to think of some positives to say about this movie, because I don't want to just dump all over it. I'm trying to find a silver lining to this, especially while I'm drinking some Shiner Holiday Cheer. I'm trying to spread some cheer out, to all of you that are kind enough to listen to this review. And speaking of Holiday Cheer, yeah, let me get a little tug on this bad boy. All right. Quite tasty. But there is one part in the finale action sequence, and that I thought was kind of cool. And it involves, I'll just say it involves a lot of things falling. And I thought that was kind of a pseudo original idea for the climactic action scene, and it did kind of remind me of Fast and Furious 6, where all the cars are being driven off of like parking garages and that kind of thing, like onto Vin Diesel and the crew, just to try to stop them in this car chase. Kind of reminded me of all the cars like just flying onto the streets off of parking garages and buildings and stuff like that. So so you'll see some similarities to that in this climactic action scene. And also, there is a character named Bugs in this movie. She is played by Jessica Henwick, and she's a tolerable character. I mean, her character seems endearing enough. The easy way to identify her, she's the one with the blue hair in this movie. So that's her calling card. That's her character's way to be subversive against the system. I'm gonna have some blue hair. But yeah, she her character. The actress Jessica Henwick did a good job with that. This movie also has NPH, as I call him, from loving that character off of Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Neil Patrick Harris. Yes, How I Met Your Mother's Neil Patrick Harris is in this movie as well, as you've probably seen from the trailer. And, he's got pretty much a throwaway role. Neil Patrick Harris. How far you've fallen in this movie. And then we got Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. He's playing the new Morpheus. I'm guessing Lawrence Fishburne wisely wanted absolutely nothing to do with this movie, and so he does not play Morpheus. They bring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who was good in the Watchmen TV series. He was also good. The thing I've liked him the most in is Netflix had a series called The Get Down. He was pretty good in that movie. So I've liked him in movies. He was terrible in Candyman, but Candyman is a terrible movie altogether. Don't get me started on that. And then we've got Carrie-Anne Moss reprising her role as Trinity. They try to sell the Neo, Trinity, or Tiffany, as her character's name is in this movie. They try to sell it, like, oh, these are star-crossed lovers. Their love transcends time and space, and so but the initial meeting in this movie is just awkward. I mean, and their dialogue to each other is just wooden, just like all the other interactions between characters in this movie is just wooden and stiff. And Keanu Reeves as Neo, I mean, they did not do the Neo character any favors in this movie with the screenplay. I mean, he is just so dull and boring, and he has no personality in this movie, hardly at all. I mean, all his responses are, "What? Really? Thanks. What? No. Really? Thanks." I mean, that's the extent of most of his dialogue in this movie. He's just so dull. But to be fair to him, so are the rest of the characters in this. Jonathan Groff, he plays like the new Agent Smith in this, and he just kind of hams it up, as the Agent Smith, and really makes you miss Hugo Weaving as the original Agent Smith. And another annoying thing about this movie is they keep intercutting scenes from the first Matrix into this, and it just really drives home the point that, yeah, I really missed the first Matrix movie. Matter of fact, I watched it the day after I saw The Matrix Resurrections, and I swear to God, that movie, The Matrix, was even better than probably the last 30 times that I've watched it right there. I mean, watching the original Matrix after watching The Matrix Resurrections is kind of like drinking a glass of, Dom Perignon champagne after drinking, a $3 bottle of Tots champagne. I mean, just no comparison, right? Just otherworldly differences between the two. And but hey, other than that, I like The Matrix Resurrections. So if you want to go check it out for yourself and judge for yourself, hey, you know what? Don't say I didn't warn you there, okay? But it's an interesting experience, that's for sure. But hopefully this will teach Warner Brothers their lesson, and hopefully they won't make any more Matrix sequels. I mean, just leave it be. All the Matrix movies have gotten worse the more sequels that they make. Can you sense a pattern here, Warner Brothers? Okay? All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot for listening to this, I guess, critical movie review of The Matrix Resurrections here on Movies Merica. And as always, definitely appreciate you guys listening here. It means more to me than you know. And stay tuned for an upcoming episode where I'll review another movie there, of course. And again, check me out on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can listen to this on moviesmerica.com and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. All right, kiddies. Have yourself a great rest of your holiday season. Peace.
Hey, guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got a popo. They're coming after me. And I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here, too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm going to be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.